Hello and welcome. Welcome to Togetherness Media. Today we are going to talk about conscious and subconscious. Okay. So, let's see who is our expert today. Hello and welcome.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, Dr. Khoramshadi from New York, psychiatrist and one of the best expert and specialists in our program. People loves you. So, today we are going to talk about the conscious and subconscious. What's the definition of both?
All right. Good question. But I want to make it a little bit, expanded. I want to talk about the conscious, subconscious, and preconscious, a little bit more, complex and a little bit more deeper than that.
Okay.
So I believe that when we are talking about the conscious, we are talking about the awareness part of our brain or mind, that we are able to make a decision, to make a choices, and we are aware about our plan and decisions. But when we are talking about the preconscious, it's a part of mind that we have to think about it, to remember. Sometimes you see a face of a person and you said to yourself that I know him, I saw him somewhere, but you can't recall at that moment until you have a little bit more deeper thinking, get back to the previous days, and then find out that where or how you are connected with that person. So this is the preconscious. Sometimes you are thinking about the phone number and you need a little bit more focus to remember that what was that? It's 6 after 9, 9 after 6. So it's about the preconscious.
Okay.
But the interesting part is unconscious. Means that the part that we do have no awareness. We don't have any idea what's going on over there. If you imagine an iceberg, conscious is on the top, out of the surface, and preconscious is a little bit down, and then unconscious is at the deeper part that nobody can see and nobody can figure it out that how much deep level does have. So that part usually comes to the dreams. And as you know that Sigmund Freud was talking about the theory of the mind, and he bring up these categories, and he says that to access to the unconscious, we need to go to the dreams of a person or any type of the dreams that any individual have, and then we should translate and try to figure it out what is the meaning of the these dreams. So that's why Sigmund Freud comes with the free association when the
Quick
patient
question.
goes to his doctor.
Sorry, you mentioned about the unconscious. Is it same as the subconscious?
Subconscious and unconscious, yes, both of
Okay.
them same. Yeah,
Okay.
conscious, preconscious, unconscious, or yes, that's true. Yes, so that's
Okay.
why Sigmund Freud asked the people, feel free, talk about whatever that comes to their mind, and sometimes use the hypnosis to understand what's going on with the dream of a person, to access about that.
Okay. So now we are talking about unconscious, conscious, and preconscious. We have three. Okay. Good to know. So our behavior and conscious or subconscious, how they related to each other?
Interesting. When we are talking about the conscious, means that we do have the awareness about the situation. We do have the option. We are choosing to do and not to do an action. So it means that you do have alertness, orientedness, and you will make a decision by yourself. So it comes from your healthy mind, or it comes from your conscious. But when you are talking about the subconscious or unconscious, means that you are not aware about the system. You don't know that how does it happen. It's look like the autopilot. It's come instantly without any type of effort and energy. So imagine that you see a lion in the middle of the jungle. What is your reaction? You get that frightened. You get hesitated to hide or run away. So these are the reaction that we are doing in a nanosecond without thinking. So they are coming as a autopilot. Sometimes you get a little bit annoyed by a tag of clothing at the back of your neck, and your reaction is just that go back and take it out. This is so usual, normal, and this is a kind of reaction that we are doing as autopilot without even thinking about it regarding that. Should I do it right now? Should I not to do it right now? Is it a good looking for me to get back my tag and take it out at this point? So there is a lot of stuff that we are doing as an autopilot. There is no thinking about it. When you get hot and you are sweating, you are taking your jacket and you are trying to make yourself a little bit cool and calm compared to the degree of the temperature in the environment. So these are natural, and these are in a nanosecond action and behavior that usually people do as a subconscious. And it's very, very important that as we stored all of these information in unconscious or subconscious of us, we bring it up naturally in in the moment that we are experiencing a trigger. Everybody has a trigger. Everybody has a stimulus during the day, and it depends on how you are approaching and getting these triggers and how you are reacting to this type of the triggers. So basically, our behavior comes from the conscious and unconscious, and majority of the time comes from the unconscious.
And how many percent is conscious? How many percent is subconscious?
It depends on the individual.
And now you bring a pre-conscious, and how many percent is pre-conscious?
Pre-conscious, it depends on the your practice to remember this stuff. It's because it's associated with the short-term memory, long-term memory. But what is very, very important is a conscious or subconscious. And when the people go to their therapy session, when they are going for any type of improvement classes or any type of the workshop, they are trying to bring up the unconscious or subconscious to the lower amounts and make it the conscious as a larger amount and bigger numbers. So if we are able to make a decision by our choices, so this is much free will. It's much better for us to be act based on our decision, compared to use the autopilot. So it's very important how we practice to a less amount of the subconscious and increase the level of the conscious.
Do you mean we can have a awareness? We have awareness with conscious, but can we have a awareness on subconscious by practice?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
improvement, going to and working with the specialist, and how is possible?
We don't have a very specific map or very exact map about our conscious. It's take time. You have to go to a lot of therapy. You have to have a dream association interpretation with your therapist to find out what's going on. But a lot of people are able to catch their hands. It's very easy that you see a movie and you are starting crying. So you're gonna think about it that what was going on in that scenes of that movie makes me so sad. What's going on in my life, that where I'm standing, what's happening in me, that I'm reacting that way. You see that there is a lot of people in the movie theater and some people are crying and some people are not reacting any type of behaviors towards the movie. So at that moment you do have enough insight to catch yourself that is there
Okay.
any association between me and that scene? Is there any association between my feeling, my past, my unconscious, and that scene of the movie? Or sometimes you are reading a book, or you are interacting with someone else, and you find out why did I act like that, why I was so judgmental, why did I jump to the conclusion, why I was making a big deal about nothing. So you are catching yourself regarding that, I'm doing this again and again and again, this is my pattern. And then at that time you will understand that oh, okay, maybe it's associated with that past event in my childhood, in my teenagehood. And you will able to get a little bit map about what's going on in our unconscious.
Okay. So I want to just make it clear something. You said if I watch a movie and trigger, by the scene, it's mean the one. It's connected. That scene connected to one part of my subconscious, and
Mm-hmm.
I should find out what's that, where is it, and what's the trigger, and what's the problem. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this technique, I know neuroscientists, they're doing different way, and clinical psychologists, they're doing different way with EMDR. And so there is any other way, or could you please a little explain for both of these two ways, and is it any other three ways or more?
Well, actually, the best way that you explain it, that's it's very popular, and a lot of therapists working at that way. But many people loves to talk. If the insurance let them to pay the cost, if they do have enough motivation to go for the therapy session for a long period, they can go through the free association, which is associated with this psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis gives a little bit more deep information about what's going on in the past, but unfortunately, since it is a very long period of time needed and time consuming, and basically it is a little bit cost is high. Majority of the therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists try to modify it and limit it to the a couple of numbers of the session that they call it as a interpersonal relationship, or they will understand that what's going on with the type of the behavior of one person to another person.
Okay, but you mentioned two times it takes long time. uh, I want to just make it clear, it's not like a 5 years. It takes maybe 20, 30, 40 hours. Is it more, or in general?
Uh, the average length of the therapy session for interpersonal relationship and interpersonal psychotherapy usually takes between the 16 session to 24-25 session. And
Okay.
if we go a little bit more than that, we call it as a long-term or long-time therapy sessions. So yeah, it would be around 30 sessions or 35 sessions for the
Okay.
psychoanalysis.
Very good, very good. So, but what about, okay, I have a question here from our website. Someone asked, by the way, all audience, they know you can ask your question in our app or website. There is a live chat, you can send a message. And someone asked about, could you please explain about mood regulation and mood dysregulation?
Interesting. Very nice. Yes, absolutely. Let's get back to the mood dysregulation first of all, and then I will explain it. What's going on with the mood regulation, and I'm going to come with a very small example. Just imagine that it's a Saturday, Sunday, and this is your day off, and you want to stay at home and relax and be quiet, reading a book or watching a movie, and then you do have a neighbor that there is a big house, and there is a big pool, and they are trying to have a fun day jumping to the pool, making noises and, loud music, and they try to have, a fun time at that day. There is two different situations. One person needs a little bit, calmness, quietness, coziness, and the other one needs, have fun, a little bit loud music, and, the rest of the clinical scenario, actually. And you will be able to handle it for a couple of minutes. And if it is past for 30 minutes, you will say to yourself that, oh my goodness, it's going to take time forever. This is my day. I want to have a rest and, what's going on. And then if it is more than, 1 hour or 2 hours, your reaction will be get up and then it show up that, maybe I have to call them. Maybe I have to tell them that, be quiet a little bit, you should be able to communicate with them to tell them that, how is your feeling and how is your mood. There is two different pathways. You can be so aggressive and agitated and, knock their door or just, call them and let them know that you are very anxious and, worry about the level of the noises and have a, bad reaction to them. Sometimes the people tell themselves that, oh my goodness, they are so young. These children need to have fun. And, it's better to look at them that, when they are jumping to the pool, listening to the music, making fun with each other. So I can be a part of that. So there's two different type of reaction for one clinical scenario. So basically we are saying that there is a situation and there is attention and there is a appraisal to that situation. And then there is a reaction. So basically, the situation is a off day, and the attention is that there's a couple of young boys or young girls jumping to the pool and a little bit noise, and your appraisal either way goes to be angry or calling them in a loud voice to stop it. Or your appraisal is going to be that, I'm going to be a part of this beautiful fun and enjoyment, a part of my off day. And your, behavior will come based on your appraisal. So it's very important that, how do you translate? How do you modify? How do you monitor your feeling? And then this feeling comes to your behavior.
Correct. Beautiful. So, nice. People send a question now. So, I received another question from my audience from London. Beautiful. So, is it true our subconscious is more than 99.8%?
It depends on the person and individual.
But average, is it more than 98%, 99%?
No, not that much. If you're trying to.
But I heard by myself, a lot from psychologists. They said, 99 something.
Yeah, but we call it as a 95% to 98%. And 99.9 or 99.8 is a little bit,
okay, let me check how much is it. 99 point. So, but based your knowledge, you mentioned 95 to 98%. Yes. Wow, it's a lot. It's an autopilot. Yeah, it's an autopilot. Okay, so. Let's back to this 95 or 98% of our brain is based on subconscious or unconscious. When made this part, when create this part?
Very nice. Actually, I was speaking in last couple of sessions about 1,000 days of life. And 1,000 days of life comes from the days that we are as a fetus in the uterus of our mothers, and 2 years after that, after the delivery of the fetus and infant. And these 1,000 days associated with the genetic, epigenetic. Both of them means that you do have the genetic influence and you do have experience, which is associated with the epigenetic. And in these 1,000 days, the blueprints, and which is the hardware of the computer, if your brain is a computer, which is the hardware of your computer, and experience, which is your software of software of your computer. So both of them are helping to shape the unconscious of your as a person, as an individual. And when you grow up a little bit, more and more, you do have a lot of experiences that trying to modify the conscious and subconscious. And basically, these are stored information for the first 1,000 days of our life.
Okay, it's going to be around first 3 years?
First 2 years as a toddler, yes. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, and then after that, it's mean I am who I am. Everything is made it or created in my first 3 years.
Absolutely, it's not exactly and clearly like that. We don't have a cutoff exactly because there is a lot of factors, and there is a lot of parameters in helping us to build up ourselves as an inner self or us, to find out who am I, what am I, and what is my interest in, what is my goal, and where I'm going, and what is my expectation from the life. So it's all about your blueprint, which is the genetic, and your experiences. I do believe that 90% of our epigenetic will happening during the first 2 years of life, which is the toddler life. But it doesn't mean that a 10-year-old boy doesn't have any experiences and doesn't change the epigenetic or the software of the computer. As we grow, as we getting elder and elder and elder, every single day does have single experiences. So as you do remember that you were the same person at the age of the 20, and now you are 40, you are the same person with the same type of interest, but you are modified. The intensity of this desire is not anymore in you, and maybe you are switched to something else. It means that at the age of the 20 up to age of the 40, you are modifying, you are changing, you are regulating your software in your computer.
Okay, makes sense. So, and last question. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Khoramshadi, for your time. It's a long weekend. But my last question is how to improve our behavior in relationship with other people,
Excellent. Very nice. The majority of the people doesn't know that, the behavior that they will do daily as a, daily basis of the interaction with the other people comes from the autopilot or comes from the subconscious. So we have to have the awareness that the 90% or 95% of my behavior is coming from the autopilot, and I have to have the awareness. I have to have the insight to catch myself. I have to have the enough understanding that if it is autopilot, so where is my decision? Where is my choices?
Responsibility.
Where is my willing? So I have to get the authority about my behavior and about my type of the interaction with the other people, regarding that when you do have the understanding, when you do have the noticing or awareness about the situation, then you will step forward to make the changes. And the first change is that be mindful, observe yourself. When you get a type of the reaction, it doesn't matter, is a positive reaction or is a negative reaction. Observe your reaction and be with your reaction and try to keep your emotion and your reaction close to yourself. If you get angry towards someone, instead of jumping towards the other person, it's better to have that feeling inside of you and keep it around yourself. And then you can get a lot of feedback from the people around you, surrounding people. They're going to tell you that you are a calm person, you are anxious person or you are a nervous person. So you can get a lot of feedback from the people and basically work on that character. Either is a positive, grow it up to go a little bit more and more higher level, and if it is the negative, you have to work on it and bring it down a little bit, for the improvement. Basically, you can make a journal, daily journal, and be watchful about your behavior, about your feeling, about your action, and then analyze them by yourself.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Khoramshadi. So, we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Khoramshadi in next time. Thank you so much for your time, and see you next time. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Do you have viruses or malware warnings? Have a problem with your computer and need help? 24 hours, 7 days. Computer Emergency Services. Convenience and savings at your fingertips. Download our free app and keep in touch.
Raise your vibration and re-engage with life. Find balance and reconnect with joy. Your vehicle is balancing the wheel, and we're here to support you in becoming more happier, healthier, and successful. wheelofwellbeing.com or drsadiq.com.
At Hello Hollywood, we bring you the best in entertainment, fashion, movies, hit music, gossip, and live from the red carpet reporting. Hello Hollywood is your new choice.